I'm Dr. Christie Klimas, although most people call me Christie. I got my undergraduate degree in environmental science with a concentration in biology at Southampton College, which was then part of Long Island University. That campus no longer operates. I started off in marine science, so it was a relatively big switch, although most people who knew me weren't surprised since I wanted to study elephants and wolves and the rainforest, and also dolphins and sea stars and things like that. After undergraduate, I worked for a while in plant physiology until I was lucky enough to get an opportunity to go to Brazil as a Rotary Ambassadorial Fellow. While I was there, as the Brazilians say, I drank the water of the river Acre, or I tomei a água do rio Acre. And from that point on, I kept going back, which is sort of a saying indicating that once you drink the water of the Acre River, there's no going back. You're constantly drawn to that area. And after that year as a Rotary Ambassadorial Fellow, I came back to the US and applied to graduate schools. While I was in Acre, I was doing work on management of non-timber forest products, which is anything from the forest that is not timber. So fruits, nuts, oils, things like that. And I got into a grad program at the University of Florida, where I was able to continue studying this. I worked on ecologically viable or ecologically sustainable and economically viable harvest of a tropical tree called Carapa guianensis. It's in the mahogany family. And I managed to continue that work through my degree and then ended up teaching first at Benedictine College in Lisle and then later at DePaul University. Some of the courses I teach actually directly draw on my experience in the Amazon. I teach 2 study abroad courses, both of which go to Peru. One is a first year abroad course specifically for first year students, and we focus on ethical sourcing in a global supply chain. The other course I teach goes to the Amazon rainforest, and it talks about how communities manage resources, in particular forests, and it has a focus on mining both in the Amazon and in some of the highland areas of Peru. My cornerstone courses at DePaul are ecology. I always joke that you shouldn't tell my husband, but ecology was my first love. And another cornerstone course is ecological and social economics. When I was in Brazil, it became clear that most of the drivers of deforestation, an issue that I cared very deeply about contributing to, stopping, were economic in nature. And because of that, it wasn't enough to know ecology well, but understanding the interrelationships between ecology and economics were really important. And so I broadened my research to include economics at that point. I also teach the Environmental Science and Studies capstone. And in that course, I teach life cycle assessment, which is a way of, it's like a currency converter for environmental impacts. So you take things like the materials that go into making a product, like steel or plastic or wood, and you convert them to equivalent units of global warming potential or eutrophication and things like that, so that you can compare impacts between, say, a gas-powered and an electric-powered car, but you can also compare impacts of things that we purchase on a day-to-day basis. One of the things I love about being at DePaul is being able to work with students. So if you are interested, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to discuss options that I'm working on at the moment.